Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. Developing educational system in the Sultanate is the center of the discussion at the Education Symposium. Public Transport Conference calls the private sector to invest in the sector of public transport. And a training workshop reviews the best methods for building and construction in the Wilaya of Ibrahim. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now the news in details. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has received a cabal of thanks from His Eminence Ali Khamenei, leader of the revolution in the Islamic Republic of Iran, in reply to His Majesty's cabal of greetings on the success of the surgical operation that he recently underwent. Developing educational system and crystallizing a roadmap for the future of education in the Sultanate were the center of the discussion at the Education Symposium. More details in the following report by Sultan As-Sarrai.
The Education Council organized the Education Symposium in the Sultanate of Oman, Path to the Future, under the auspices of His Highness Sayyid As'ad bin Tariq Al Sa'id, representative of His Majesty the Sultan. The opening ceremony started with a recitation from the Holy Quran, and then Her Excellency the Minister of Higher Education delivered the council speech. After that, a short movie was presented, and then the first discussion started.
Higher education and education generally is very, very important. We have to continue progress. We have to update all the education sectors. The participation of all the nation is very important, from the parents all the way to the director or the minister. Everybody have to input into education. We are now in a very good position, in good standard. Oman is competing on a world level in so many sectors. And this is the result of a good directives of His Majesty.
This event came to present the projects which have been prepared by the Council in order to develop the education system in the Sultanate, expand the social participation in order to enrich the presented projects, and submit and enhance the education future plan in the Sultanate.
This symposium reflects a turning point in the history of education and higher education in the Sultanate, because it brings together all the stakeholders in this symposium to discuss the future of education generally, but specifically also higher education, and all the projects and initiatives that the Council of Education has adopted.
Today's main discussion of the panel focused on the National Strategic Projects of Education 2040 in the Sultanate and the restructure project of the education system. Also, there were other accompanying discussions focused on various topics and systems that related to Omani education.
Well, this symposium, in fact, is coming on time, I believe, to expose and to present these projects for the public and those who are interested in education, to get their feedback and opinions regarding these projects, to enrich what's really mentioned there in these documents, and also to finalize what's really being there, maybe some missing ideas or missing recommendations that we need to add to these documents, to enrich them, to make them ready to be presented in front of the Education Council in the future.
This three-day gathering targets various categories such as students, parents, educational institutions, the State Council, Ashura Council, governmental and private business and employment sector, and National Youth Committee. Education considered as one of the main factors in any country development, and this gathering here has stressed and reinforced its importance to do so. Sultan bin Saif Al-Sarrai, Muscat.
Signed by His Majesty the Sultan, His Excellency Dr. Ali bin Masoud Al-Sinaidi, Minister of Commerce and Industry, participated in the World Investment Forum in Geneva, which aimed to face challenges related to investment and discuss policies of encouraging finance and investment. The forum, which organized by the United Nations Conference of Trade and Development UNCTAD, is considered as one of the biggest conferences in the world economy. In the sideline of the forum, His Excellency the Minister of Commerce and Industry met the Director General of World Trade Center and discussed the joint cooperation in the fields of science and technology policies. His Excellency the Minister also met His Excellency the Secretary General of UNCTAD and reviewed investment policies. Oman Public Transport 2014 conference concluded today at Grand Hyatt Muscat. It came up with various recommendations, including the establishment of specialized authority for land transport means and providing comprehensive transport network for all types of public transport, construction of infrastructure of public transport waiting stations through the establishment of a main station in Muscat equipped with all facilities. The conference also stressed the need to spread awareness among the society about the collective public transport and setting up plans to raise the operational and administrative efficiency of public transport system. It also called for improving the quality of services provided to the commuters, facilitating all difficulties facing the existing companies and working together to reach the highest level of road safety. The conference also stressed the need to encourage the private sector to invest in the field of public transport. In Singapore, the Royal Navy of Oman celebrated today the naming and launching ceremony of the ship Seeb, which is the first vessel of Ufuk project signed by the Sultanate with STM company in Singapore. The ceremony was presided over by His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Saud bin Harb Al Busaidi, Minister responsible for Defense Affairs, in the presence of Rear Admiral Abdullah bin Khamis bin Abdullah Al-Raisi, Commander of the Royal Navy of Oman. The chief guest and the attendees toured the ship and got acquainted with its various divisions and equipment. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman, and still to come in our news bulletin. Fine arts was highlighted during a discussion of training workshop in the Governorate of Al-Zahira. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. One station system in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry achieves more than 80% of transactions. It came when His Excellency Engineer Ahmed bin Hassan Al-Dhib and the Secretary of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry announces to the Sultanate of Oman Radio and Television. His Excellency the Engineer indicated that there is international company currently working to develop the station to achieve transactions of the investors faster through the internet. Nagahi program launched by Bank Muscat aims to facilitate support and finance entrepreneurs and small enterprises through offering special financial facilities and advantages to them. The program came to contribute to the government tendency to support small and medium enterprises. The program offers bill discounts and a special current account for companies and other facilities with regards to contract funding. Global financial recession is possible during the upcoming period, but the Sultanate can avoid its fluctuations and consequences as it did in the past. This came in a statement to Sultanate of Oman Radio and Television by Abdul Razzaq bin Ali bin Isa, Chief Executive Officer of Bank Muscat. He said that there will be efforts and initiatives to reduce the impacts of this recession if it happens. He also affirmed that a number of electronic crimes and credit cards fraud were recorded, pointing out that work is underway to arrest some criminals in coordination with competent authorities, especially Royal Oman Police. Within the framework of military academic expertise exchange between the Sultanate and Germany, Major General Salim bin Musallam Khatun, commander of the National Defense College in the premises of the college at Beit al-Falaj camp, met with Major General Akim Lidspa, commander of Federal Supreme Military Academy in Germany. During the meeting, the guest was briefed about the college and its duties within its targets, which represented in preparing and qualifying military commanders and civil officials with specialized knowledge and education. Major General Akim Lidspa, commander of Federal Supreme Military Academy in Germany, visited the College of Command and Staff at Beit al-Falaj camp. The Germany guest was briefed about Command and Staff College in addition to general curricula in qualifying and training, besides the college facilities of study halls, classes and modern information technologies. The guest toured the college facilities. In the Wilaya of Ibra, activities of the first forum Together for Integrated Building continued, which is organized by Ibra municipality. A training workshop was held under the theme Integrated Efforts for Safety Building, targeting contractors and construction consultants. The municipality stressed on the role of contractors and consultants. The workshop aimed to spread awareness among the participants and provide them with regulations and systems of the constructions. It also focused on rules of implementing building, as well as the participants got acquainted with the financial fines while the contractors and consultants passed the legal procedures for flexing the prevailing rules. The fields of fine arts were highlighted during a discussions of training workshop in the field of drawing and fine arts, which was organized by the Directorate General for Education in the Governorate of Al-Zahira. 30 male and female participants from the Governorate schools gathered to get acquainted with the drawing basics and other arts schools, which included practical applications and practices during the training workshop. The 80-year-old Dr. Ali Al-Amin Al-Mazrou'i, an Omani academic and researcher, has passed away yesterday, the 13th of October 2014. He carried out many academic studies and researches in the field of Islamic and African studies and had many publications in the same aspects. He worked in international and African politics and was an author of a number of books and journals in American and African public media concerning political strategy, philosophy, and critics. He worked as a director in Global Cultural Studies Institute in Bennington University, USA, and a professor in humanities and international politics in other universities, and was a president of Social Islamic Sciences Association in North America. To elaborate more on Dr. Ali Al-Mazrou'i, live online with us is Dr. Ibrahim Noor Al-Bakri, whom had personal contact with Dr. Ali Al-Amin Al-Mazrou'i. Dr. Ibrahim, good evening to you and welcome to the news of the Sultanate of Oman Television, and our condolences to you and the family of Dr. Ali Al-Mazrou'i.
Good evening.
Doctor, can you please tell us more about the academic and scientific aspects of Dr. Ali Al-Mazrou'i?
Professor Ali Al-Mazrou'i was a towering giant in the field of political science and many other fields. He was a unique scholar. He was so versatile in the use of the English language that he even created his own Mazruisms that kept a lot of people thinking about what he was talking about, made his points very clear, and he is one of the 100 top scholars of the 20th century. And he was many things. He was always invited around the world, walked with president and kings, and never lost the common touch. I have been very fascinated with his humbleness in spite of his fame. He would talk to a child and would give that child full attention. So he was, while he was a towering giant, he was also a first-class human being.
Okay, and I believe that he had visited Oman in the last 1.5 years.
Yeah, he visited here. Unfortunately, Ali Mazrui for the last 30 years have not been well, and because he had a kidney problem and on dialysis. But he was a very brave man, and he worked beyond the pain. And he has many books to his credit, and he spoke to audiences, and he was welcome everywhere, and he was controversial in many times because his ideas were not accepted by everybody, but he was proven to be right many times. Yes, he was here, and he gave a lecture at the university, and he gave another lecture at the mosque, in Grand Mosque lecture room. And so we are in a great loss, not just as Omanis, but the African world is also in mourn for his passing.
Indeed. Thank you, Doctor. That was Dr. Ibrahim Noor Al-Bakri. And now for the general weather forecast. Clear skies will prevail over the southern with chances of scattered rain over the Hajar Mountains and the nearby areas. Winds will be northeasterly light to moderate along the coastal areas of Sea of Oman, while it will be southerly to southeasterly light to moderate over the rest of the Sultanate. Seas will be slight with a maximum wave height of 1.5 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television, and now before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Developing educational system in the Sultanate is the center of the discussion at the Education Symposium. Public Authority Conference calls the private sector to invest in the sector of public transport. And a training workshop reviews the best methods for building and construction in the Wilayah of Ibra. With that, we come to an end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the studios and the newsroom, it's good night.